Seal River watershed. This vast watershed is 50,000 square kilometers of untouched, pure wilderness, about the size of Nova Scotia, or 25% larger than the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. There are no mines, no roads, no permanent development, no dams. Schizani Lake is a vast, untouched wilderness lake of the northernmost reaches of Manitoba, Canada. It begins at the confluence of the North and South Seal Rivers and is the source of the mighty Seal River. Lining its shores are spectacular eskers where you can follow ancient migration paths of bare ground caribou. The only community to Dooley Lake, less than 400 people of traditional Sayasi Dene who have been stewards of this land for centuries. Only a handful of canoeists paddle it each year. It is one of Canada's and the world's last great rivers and truly wild places. My brother Jim and I were lucky enough to be the only people on the banks of this lake, and we're ready to soak it all in as we started heading on our once-in-a-lifetime journey down the Seal River to Hudson Bay.
Serious thunderstorm last night, in the middle of the night.
Testament to how big the lake is when there's just like a huge thunderstorm on the other side that isn't bothering us here.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to paddle 32 kilometers today, all just on this huge lake. So winds are calm now, but it's still early. So hopefully they stay calm for the day. That would be a real nice treat. Hoping to go 32 kilometers on this massive 40-kilometer long lake today, and there's some big crossings that we'd have to follow the shore like way out of our way if it was windy. So anyway, gorgeous day, gorgeous campsite, so nice, so cool. People have probably been camping there for thousands of years.
Beautiful lake. Went up on top of the esker at our site there and got a bit of a view of the lake, and all sandy tops stretched on for a while, and animal trails, and the Dene used to use the eskers as travel routes to hunt and ambush caribou and channel them and all kinds of stuff in this area. So it's a lot of indigenous history on this lake. Samuel Hearn actually camped at a site not far from the site we camped at last night. He spent some time here, which was the first European account of the lake, and Samuel Hearn traveled up this river to the coast of the Arctic Ocean. We had Dene guides. You can imagine what a mission that must have been, and in very different times. Pretty cool, pretty special.
It's been a forest fire relatively recently. It's strange because the trees aren't super close together everywhere, but the fire spreads really easily because the moss is, you know, even if it's wet, it dries out really quick and it's flammable. And then there's not much soil. There's permafrost, and so like the soil that's there, a lot of it is just like kind of peat and roots. And when it's dry, it just spreads kind of like an ember through there, burns the next tree. So it's all part of the natural process. Contrast, there's the regular forest there, lush and green. Reading some of the river notes we have by Pat Wilson, his book Wilderness Rivers of Manitoba. They got caught in absolutely wild freaking forest fire when they were on the Seal River. They had to evacuate the town of Tuduli that year. They were really close to it, and the danger of the flames with the smoke as well. So yeah, it can happen. It's something you got to think about. Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
So Ted, if we go this way, it's just over 3 kilometers. The issue is, what if we get out there and it gets worse, you know?
Right.
But I think we'll just go for it.
Nice little guy.
Well, Ted got a fish in the middle of this big crossing. Kind of sketchy time to be trolling, because as soon as you catch a fish, you start blowing backwards, getting broadsided by the waves. So, you know, I don't know why he thought it would be a good idea, but I suppose I was trolling too. So also, we're trying to make it across before the winds build. Big pike, I think, are good eating for sure. You know, me personally, I'll take the pickerel over the pike. I like the flavor a little better on average, for sure. And they're just much easier. Just fillet, pull the ribs out, skin them, throw them in the pan. Well, pike, you gotta get a little more intricate. There's the other shore, another crossing. Almost in the book. Aim for this point. Could change the world.
That pike. It really delays us when I catch a fish. And my thing is still catching even though it's broken.
Ted is just taking forever. I'm not even paddling hard, and he's just way behind me all the time. I guess maybe it's that injury that's bugging him.
Ah! Woo! Getting a little bigger. Back in the water he goes.
Yo, this is crazy. I've never had anything like this up. There, the big one just left. Did you see that? So I was dragging this pike, and then a big pike just gripped onto it. And I pulled in the big pike holding that. Like it tried to eat this one. I don't know if you saw that. That's never happened to me before. It wouldn't let go. I was fighting it in, and finally it let go. I probably could have even netted both of them if I had to.
We just managed to make that big crossing, and the weather didn't really kick up. Hopefully it keeps up like this.
Woo! No shortage of small pike here. So Ted caught up to me. Turns out that he caught 2 more pike. They're just hammering the swim bait that he has. I'm doing all right too, but he got one, and by the time he got it off the hook, he'd blown 400 meters back. Then he got snagged. But anyways, pretty cool that as soon as I pulled over, I was reeling and I was, oh geez, I must have been dragging a really small pike, and then bam, another pike hits that. I'm like, whoa, this seems heavy. And I reel in this big pike, just clamped down on the small pike, like so crazy. Just didn't want to let it go. Like it was way too big for it to swallow.
Last of the pemmican is going to me.
It's the perfect consistency at this temperature.
Really looks like hunks of bear.
Totally does. Kind of is, eh? It's just like, you know, not digested yet.
Well, that was utterly adorable. This otter just came through here fishing, didn't seem to mind us, just kind of popped up and had a look at us a couple of times and put on a little show for us. So pretty cool, because we haven't really seen much wildlife other than bald eagles and what else, a beaver. So
a lot of bald eagles.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's rare seeing otters, to be honest, but like when you do, they're often curious and not really afraid and not timid. Everybody's back.
Hey, bud. Hey. Hey. You wanna be friends? You see me talk to him? He was like, hey, are you talking to me?
Yeah, he looked right at you. I've caught, I believe, 7 pike today. And what I'm using is this weighted head. It's a fish head with like a Texas rig hook. I was using this one here. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? And this tail really swims. Inside, it's actually like a really strong piece of fabric that gives it that minnow shine. This is what the 7 pike have done to this one. Have really hacked it up. Definitely working well for pike, that's for sure. That fabric in there really helps hold the hook and everything in and keep your soft bait lasting a lot longer. Oh, it feels pretty big. The weather is amazing. Absolutely freaking beauty day. The wind just continued to die. Fingers crossed that it stays like this for the rest of the day. Because of it, Jim and I have actually hopped across the lake so we can do a bit of a hike up in Esker. There's also an old trapper's cabin marked here. It might have burnt down because there's been a big fire since then, so we'll see. What a day. If it keeps up like this all day, we should be able to make our distance. Despite being a 40-kilometer long lake, some of the biggest parts of the lake actually have some noticeable current. In a way, it just seems like a really wide part of the seal, and it goes to show how big and powerful the seal is going to be. We're seeing current, not really just in like a little shallow section, like throughout long swaths of it down essentially the middle of the lake. I'm looking forward to getting out of the canoe here and doing a bit of this hike. Like, it's just something different.
What a nice beach, eh? Look at the remains of the cabin right here. Oh no, it's not, sorry. It's just some trees perfectly piled on each other.
Already, what a gorgeous view here. Beautiful. An esker is essentially like an ancient riverbed that formed under a glacier. So glacier could have been up, you know, a kilometer or more thick of ice. And what we're walking on here, this tall, was just deposits of sand from like a river flowing underneath the glacier. You think a moose broke that?
Maybe.
What do you think, Jim?
But what?
Was it worth coming up here?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just pretty cool.
Pretty cool, eh? Such an easy hike, too.
Yeah.
The moose have been snapping these off. Coming along, a lot of moose droppings on this trail and footprints. Look at that. Snapping all of these. Here's the old fire that ravaged through here. Burnt all the way up the esker. Big old stumps for this area. And these little birch are the new growth. This esker is very impressive. This is just a giant pile of sand built up under a glacier. Wow. It's huge. Absolutely massive. Moose likes it up here. I feel like maybe it's because there's a lot of the, Jim's saying, the wind and get away from the bugs, but I think it's eating these birch, all the new buds and stuff on the birch, because it's snapping a lot of them here, and probably was after all the fresh buds on them. It's easy walking over there now. We got to paddle all the way down the other end of this lake here. Way down, so as far as the eye can see. Come out of here and hop a couple islands to the other shore. And a campsite on the far end of the lake today. But it might have been that side. Made it.
Nice throw.
I'm going this way.
You're gonna walk around the lake.
Yeah, it's not really that much longer.
Like, we don't have this kind of time, man.
Why is it that much further? We're already at the end of the lake. It's the same distance back as it was along here.
Way further.
No, it's not. I'll see you back there.
I thought we were gonna do a quick hike, you know?
I don't know.
Not that long, remember?
I think it's maybe like 10 minutes longer. Looks very different. Really cool. That tree's getting pretty big there. This would have been one of the biggest ones I've seen if it was alive. Around here anyway, for sure. There's supposed to be an old trapper's cabin on this side of this little pinched in lake here, but it might have burned down with this fire that took the forest a number of years ago. Pretty easy walking through here, that's for sure. Beautiful. Maybe this is where the cabin was. There's nothing left. That looks like a stove, part of it, and an old piece of the chimney here. Kind of cool. Looks like a big pan. Old tin can here. Couple of like pits here. Some stuff in it. I don't even know what. This is the sole of a shoe. Crazy. Thought maybe this little clearing would have been where the cabin would have been, but I don't see any evidence of it. It's possible there's just nothing left other than what I found. Completely burnt and then rotted and washed away. I think maybe you would find the bottom logs of the structure though. Here's some bones. Some little bone here. Cool. If that's an animal that perished in the fire, or if wolves or something got it, or even if it's just discarded from the whoever was in that cabin. More bones. More bones. Feels like almost like I'm somewhere else because I'm on this esker and there was a burn, and it's just the smell of the pine and the heat and the aridness. It almost feels like I'm like in the US or something like that. It's very different. It's cool. Very different than the muskeggy, swampy, mossy stuff we've been getting and experiencing. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it almost feels like you're walking through like Joshua Tree or something. It's just like open sand, stunted jack pines, kind of just like really hot pine smell.
By the way, I saw you coming down that back hill when I was standing right there.
Walked like way back behind the lake too, because it like opens up and looks like super cool. Well, back in the canoe. It was a fun hike. Pretty cool. Nothing too vigorous, nothing too long, but kind of cool to check out the area. I can see why I built a cabin there. It's a really nice spot, but it's too bad it burnt down, I guess. Not sure how many people would come all the way in here trapping anymore. Maybe a few do. Really don't know. From the town of Tuduli, maybe? Hard to say.
Well, I'm already on the right, so I'm gonna go on the right.
Tip of that huge point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this way.
That's not what I have. Just follow me.
Oh, I'm going this way.
Why?
Well, it's way shorter.
How could it be way shorter? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, just go the way I'm going, dude. I have it right here on the GPS in front of me.
So do I.
I thought your GPS is broken.
It's not.
Wasn't it broken yesterday? So you want to go with the malfunctioning GPS then. The point is like directly this way. Like this.
At that massive point that's there.
Yeah, but from where I'm sitting, it's faster for me to go around the right than around the left.
Well, that's because you paddled over there. Anyway, whatever.
Like this is right now, I'm pointed exactly straight at the point.
There's no possible way. It's down this part of the lake.
What? I don't know, man. I'm going this way. I don't know why you want to be difficult.
You're going the wrong way for no reason. It's like current ripping through here even.
I'm coming that way.
Well, we were catching a lot of fish this morning, just tons. We let them all go because we're like, oh, we got so far to go. We'll just catch one closer to camp. And this last stretch we haven't caught anything, and now we're starting to wonder if we should have kept one of those. It's always a revolving situation where you do keep one early and you catch a ton more and you could have just waited, but it does happen. You always take the chance where you think you'll catch one later and you don't. You wish you had kept the fish from earlier.
Good sized pike for sure. That's a pretty decent one. Stay. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep that. Decent, not a dink.
Been gifted with this amazing day. Best day of the trip weather-wise. Hot, sunny, and no wind, most importantly. The wind actually died as the day went on. And just so lucky. And we're shaving off like huge amounts of sticking to the shore that we would have to do by cutting across these huge swaths of lake that normally we wouldn't risk because it would be too dangerous. It seems fairly stable right now and super calm, and we're gonna cut through a chain of islands for about 6 kilometers. Beautiful, it's just glass out here, and we're really fortunate after so many days of just ripping wind to get a nice calm day like this. Maybe we're due for it.
Yeah. It's your fault. See where we're going, eh? Yep.
What an incredible day.
Yeah, man. Just like, especially after we read Hap's notes yesterday about how it's just always windy. It was windy for days, you know? How many days a year this lake is this glassy?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is
hard to believe, eh?
Yeah, man.
There's few days in a year where it's this perfect.
So sick, eh? Oh, we deserved a bit of a break though, didn't we?
A drumlin. Glacial deposit. Solid 32 kilometers we did today. Just flat water paddling. Steady headwinds for a bit, but beautiful and epic paddling conditions on this massive lake. I wonder how many days out of the year is this lake this glassy? Probably not too many, considering it's frozen the majority of the year. Just gonna make camp right on top of those rocks there. Wow. I feel tired, but I feel like really good about getting across this lake. Could not have had better conditions. We're there.
Well, I finally caved in and I put my bug jacket on because I am out of bug spray except for like this much, and the black flies have come out hard now, and it's just, you know, it's just like not really manageable with without the bug spray. It's just horrible. So put this on. I luckily have another hat that works well with this, and I put it on. It's just wonderful under here. It's absolutely wonderful. Oh wow.
Look at what Ted found. An old male caribou antler. I don't know if we'll see any caribou. Unfortunately, their numbers are not what they once were, but also their migration only comes through this way in the winter, I believe. But that is super cool. An emblem of the Canadian North, really.
Beautiful sunset, calm waters. So freaking nice. A nice soft moss to sleep on. Those Esker beach sites are absolutely gorgeous, but the sand is a little bit annoying, and this is a nice break from that because it gets in everything. What a beautiful site this is, and just like right on the water.
5-cut method. This pike might be big enough to fillet and cut the Y bones after, but I think I could get more boneless. Just feel where those bones are along the side here instead of the outside of those. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-cut method works like a charm. Nice. There's a nice old slab of meat right there. Look at that, that's the best one.
Experience. Using this little awesome Iridium Go. I just use the app and pair it to my cell phone, and now there's a Wi-Fi signal around camp, and so Jim could connect to his Wi-Fi and make a call simultaneously. Hey! Great signal. Alright, I got a bag of fish crisp. Poured it in there. Nice little seasoning and a batter for the fish. Yeah. Now we just shake it up. Shake it up. Come on, let's twist again, like we did last summer. Ooh, let's twist again, like we did last year. Do you remember when? Oh, we were really humming. Yeah, let's twist again, like we did last year. Do. Boom, done.
What a spectacular day. Schizani Lake didn't disappoint. Absolutely serene. To stand in some of the same places as those that came before us had a real sense of power to it. This campsite was really proving to be one of the best of the entire trip. Stands out in my mind as one that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Completing Schizani Lake represented the last of the large lakes of our trip, with only 4 kilometers left to go to the Seal River. Delicious fish dinner made it all that much better. A little Cajun fish crisp and some Frank's buffalo were all the luxuries we needed.
Pike for dinner.
We were feeling pretty darn good. We had reached a true paradise. With 264 kilometers left to go, with lots of intense whitewater picking up, the promise of seeing moose, black bear, polar bear, wolverines, caribou, beluga whales, stunning esker scenery, a new species of delicious fish, and Arctic grayling, all left us looking very forward to the days ahead. The adventure felt like it was just beginning all over again.